All right, well, we're going to finish up our series today here. We've been driving along talking about small groups using the Pursue God resources. So Sean, why don't we finish up by explaining to us how to build a group? Like your small group, you've built it. You've actually multiplied a couple of times as a small group, which is pretty cool. So I'm sure people watching this are going to want that same experience. They're going to want to say, okay, well, what's the secret sauce then? What would you say to that?
I think one of the biggest things to building your small group is kind of being your own ambassador, being involved in the church and talking with people about your group, and being invitational, saying, hey, come check us out on Wednesday nights, telling your friends. If you rely solely on the church to get you people in your group, then you're not going to have very many people.
No, that's good. So what about in the community? Like, can you invite a neighbor, let's say a seeking neighbor, a couple in the neighborhood that doesn't go to church? Like, is a small group a good place for someone like that?
Yeah, absolutely is. Especially if you do have that invitational atmosphere where they can come and feel safe. And so, we've told neighbors, we've told friends at work, and they can totally come and not be overwhelmed at all.
All right, so scenario, let's say that the topic that you were going to cover was kind of a spicy topic, like maybe real theological, that maybe your neighbor it'd be way over their heads, but your neighbor's good. You've been inviting your neighbor and they're going to actually come this week. How would you handle that?
Well, if I felt like it was something too much for them, the nice thing is we can easily change the topic and just send it out to all the group members and cover something different.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's really important for people to. That's one of the benefits to the flexibility of all the different topics. It's just right on the fly. Really, even the night of, someone shows up that unexpectedly, and you don't really know where they stand, and you feel like the topic might be really hard for them to maybe process or hurtful for them. Who knows? If you've got in your prayer needs, somebody brings up a prayer need that's just a genuine, like, we need to talk about that. When if you know the resources, you can actually just right on the fly, you can say, hey, why don't we let's push this topic we had scheduled for today back to next week. Why don't we talk about this thing instead? Maybe in that case, you'd watch the video together.
Absolutely.
That's good. All right, what would you say to someone who maybe they're nervous about getting started? They're afraid that it's just going to be them and their co-leader for a few weeks or a couple months. Like, do they keep going? What would you say to that person?
I would say absolutely keep going on. Some of our best discussions have been in very small groups with 3 to 5 people in it, and so you can have fruitful, God-honoring discussions in those small settings.
So just keep plugging along, be patient, slow is fast, build it one person at a time. I guess I would also add to that, hey, if it's just you and your co-leader, that's fine. It's just you're mentoring right now. But eventually mentoring will give way. If you've got a healthy environment, people are going to want to be a part of that, and it'll give way to a bigger and bigger group. And then you get to the place that I think you found your group at, because healthy groups grow. You had a healthy group, and so what happened was you grew to the point where you had to multiply. So why don't we just finish by telling us just real quickly, how do you multiply your group?
So as the group grew, it became apparent that it was time to multiply, just simply because we didn't have any more room for people. And so, it kind of became the culture, the discussion that, we're going to need to multiply off. And so I think as a leader, it's good to have that mindset within the group of, as the group gets healthier and healthier and grows more and more, we have that multiplication mindset. That way you don't lay a bombshell on your group one night of, it's time, we're all splitting up, and people are shocked. But instead people realize, one day we're going to grow this thing so big that we multiply so more people can come.
Yeah, and did you find that you had leaders kind of waiting in the wings then because of how you were doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you run it to the point where you're the facilitator and you're letting other people take ownership and do the overview and lead discussion questions, you'll start to see naturally that there's leaders God has built up. And whether it's your co-leader and just someone else who has natural abilities, or or just somebody else in general, you'll identify those people who will be good to multiply out from your group.
Yeah, that's good. That's helpful for people to be aware of. So I think just even as your group starts to grow, start laying the groundwork for, we're not gonna be together forever. We're gonna be missional. It's not just about us being best friends for the rest of our lives. It really is about us. As more and more people want to be a part of this healthy group, we're going to make room for them, and that means we need to multiply. Just like a healthy family multiplies. Healthy parents kick their kids out at some point, right? And then those kids start their own families. That's good. Well, Sean, this has been really good. And pastors, leaders watching this series, I encourage you to check out some of the other series, the small group training series, the official version, not the drive along. I encourage you to check out mentor training. Make sure to check out foundations. But small groups are awesome, man. If you do it right, keep it simple, your small group can be like Sean's and really change families and affect lives.